Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm John Gray, and I'm just plain living here.
Good morning, John Gray. I'm Peggy Burton.
Guess what?
You're all masked up?
It's time we wear our mask again.
Well, I do.
When you're outside, folks, that's what they're saying now. When you leave home and you're outside amongst people, put your mask on.
You can walk your dog without a mask.
Well, you can
If
do
you're not
whatever
with
you
people.
want. If you're somewhere away from
Yeah.
people, you can. I saw Tom Hanks this morning on the Today Show, and he and his wife both had the virus.
Yeah.
And
they were one of the
he
first
said he
ones.
just can't understand. You know, it's really a simple thing. He said, you know, and of course he's a big World War II guy.
Right.
And he's got a new movie coming out about World War II, Greyhounds. And he said, you know, it was really simple back during World War II when the country needed to come together and everybody needed to help. They did. And he said, you know, there's things you can do to make yourself part of the effort to win the war. People didn't know how long that war was going to be. Some people thought it might last, and it could have lasted 10 to 12 years.
Well, you're too young to remember World War II, right?
I was born in '49, so it was
So
about
you
gone.
missed it, yeah. I was a child during World War II, and I have vivid memories of my grandmother's house with a cigar box-like apparatus on the wall that served as a radio.
Uh-huh.
And we would sit in front of that radio and listen to H.B. Kaltenborn, and I've never forgotten that.
Yeah.
We listened to the news every day.
Sure.
And a lot of it didn't register with me, but I can remember being fearful at times.
Yeah,
what
but
was
you
going
had
on.
Rosie the Riveter, and you had people
yeah.
giving up jobs,
That
and
was
you
my
had
mother.
all the men were gone and the women were working, and factories were doing what factories have done during this COVID virus, is go from making whiskey to making hand sanitizer, go from making
I know,
something to making
I've got that
masks.
sanitizer all over my house, and so everybody smells like whiskey when I use it, because that's all I could find at the beginning.
But Tom Hanks said, I can't figure out. It's real simple how you can be part of this. Wear a mask,
Right.
clean your hands,
And stay away from people
And-
as much
and,
as possible. Don't get in their face.
you know, it's just real simple. Social distance. Stay 6 feet apart from somebody, put a mask on, and
We're
wash your
close.
hands.
We're close to
Real
6
simple.
feet.
All you got to do is that, and for some reason that makes people think that you're because you're wanting to help the entire nation.
Well,
that you're
it's the same way of wearing a seatbelt. Finally, people decided they needed to wear a seatbelt. But in the beginning, they fought it.
Well, sure.
Every time something comes out like that, there's going to be a bunch of people that are going to fight it.
sure taking away their freedom.
Taking away their freedom, yeah.
Yeah. But you know, if you
again,
get somebody else sick because of your spreading the virus, kills 100, what about their freedom?
What about their freedom? That's
You know,
right.
so-
So it's important.
It is important, but that's not the only thing we have to talk about here
Did
today.
you have a good 4th of July?
I did have a good 4th of July, did you?
I did, yeah.
We went over to Mama Dot's house and we ate hot dogs and potato salad and played cards and
Good.
did all those things that we do on holidays. Sat out on the porch in a wicker rocker and went to sleep.
That's always a good thing.
That's
yeah.
a good thing to do. God bless our porches.
And God bless America.
And God bless
yeah.
America. You know, I'm going to do it special one time. I've said I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it. Go around Tullahoma and get video, or at least still pictures of the porches in town. We have some beautiful porches
Yeah.
in Tullahoma.
And there was a lot of people that, noticed the 4th of July by putting stuff. I always have my flag flying. It
Well, let me
never
tell
doesn't
you what.
fly.
Excuse me. We did not have our traditional 4th of July celebration, but there was more smoke in the air
Really?
in Tullahoma, Tennessee than I've ever seen on the 4th of July. And a lot of those fireworks stands were already packed up because they had sold out
So
before
yeah.
it was time
And
for
and
them
all
to
the-
close.
All the dogs in town are over at the
Scared to death.
scared to death and out of sight.
And every street in town just about had people in the middle of it shooting fireworks off. So we had a big time
No,
here
they're
in
still
Tullahoma.
doing it out in my
Yeah.
the country. I keep hearing them popping all night long. But they'll slow down in a couple of days.
So talked to Coach Olive yesterday, was involved in some conversation with him, and they really, TSSAA really hasn't made a decision yet on how football season is going to go. They did start to do something, and then this thing ramped back up.
And they changed
so
their mind?
hopefully Wednesday, tomorrow, we should have some information.
Maybe a schedule.
Schedule. They might.
I
They're
think they're
talking
going to cut
about
it
maybe
down to 8 games instead
8
of
games
10.
or 7 games, or there's talk about having the fall sports in the spring and the spring sports in the fall, because a lot of your spring sports are individual.
Yeah.
Track, tennis, golf, those kind of things, other than baseball.
Yeah.
And baseball's even pretty much social distance, other than in the dugout.
Right, or the crowd that comes.
The crowd that comes. So,
they could
so we'll see what the
themselves.
TSSAA and the governor have to say about our sports. Football pays for all of it. None of the other sports really make enough money to pay for themselves. And so if we don't have football, I don't know what's going to happen to the other sports, because most of them, baseball generates some income, basketball generates some income. The rest of them don't generate any income. All of those Title IX sports, soccer, all of that stuff, track and field, none of them generate any income. So without football to pay for it, then you wonder whether we're going to have those sports at all in the spring.
That's something to think about. I worry a lot about people that get depressed, and because they're having to stay home all the time and they feel like they can't get out and do anything. There's a lot of that going on too. People are committing suicide.
Yeah, it's tough. It's a tough deal.
It's tough to suddenly change the way you live, but you can still get out if you just follow the rules.
Sure.
And so,
I mean, you can go to a golf course, or you can go walk around the golf course. You can go to a park and walk and stay away from people.
If I'm not mistaken, some of the golf courses you can just go play for free. They're keeping them up.
Yeah.
The course is kept up, but nobody's running it.
We have an alderman here. Miss Rupa's with us today, and I think one of the discussions she's going to have is about some of our park activities and what's going on that side of the city, and some other things as well.
There's a lot of stuff.
So
that
in
keeps
country,
going on.
y'all finished the commercials, getting ready for the country show.
Yeah, and we're doing it very different. Everybody needs to know that we are not crowding a lot of people on stage. I think we're no more than 20 on the stage at once, and that's pretty easy to fill up. 20 people.
Oh, yeah.
But no longer will we have 40 and 50 people doing opening and
stuff.
finale and stuff like that.
Very good.
And we're practicing in different places.
Okay.
I say we. I'm not doing much practicing. I'm just kind of overseeing. But we're being careful. We're being real careful.
Well, something happened day before yesterday that was a big shock to the country music industry. Speaking about the country show, Charlie Daniels passed away.
The devil went down to Georgia.
Devil went down to Georgia, long-haired country boy. And what we're going to do is bring back one of the old Ralph Emery shows. Thank you, Philip Scoggins. And we'll show a tribute to Charlie Daniels by him doing Long-Haired Country Boy.
Great.
Right now, an old boy that's home on any stage. He's at home on stage with the Rolling Stones in Memphis, or maybe Willie Nelson in Texas. Here is funky Charlie Daniels.
1, 2, 3, 4. People say I'm no good, crazy as a loon. 'Cause I get stoned in the morning and get drunk in the afternoon. Kinda like more blue tick hound, I like to lay around in the shade. I ain't got no money, but I damn sure got it made. 'Cause I ain't asking nobody for nothing if I can't get it on my own. If you don't like the way I'm living, you just leave this long-haired country boy alone. Preacher man talking on TV, putting down the rock and roll. But sometimes I think that preacher man like to do a little walking too. But I ain't asking nobody for nothing if I can't get it on my own. If you don't like the way I'm living, you just leave this long-haired country boy alone. Politician wants a vote. I don't want much of nothing at all, but I will take another toll. But I ain't asking nobody for nothing if I can't get it on my own. If you don't like the way I'm living, you just leave this long-haired country boy alone.
Hello, I'm Ray Noyes. This is a critical time in Tullahoma. On August the 6th, voters will have an opportunity to elect a new mayor, one who can provide proven, experienced leadership, one who knows how to get things done and keep Tullahoma moving. I recognize the value of Tullahoma's excellent school system. Our system is recognized as one of the best in the state, and I'll ensure that our schools continue at that level. I will not vote to raise property taxes in order to have a balanced budget until all other options have been exhausted. I'll work closely with our city staff to ensure that my fiscally conservative values are incorporated. Now, I've served on all city boards involved in economic development. I see that as a way that we can broaden our tax base and avoid a property tax rate increase. Some developers have had issues with our planning and codes department. I'll commit to these improvements. There'll be consistency in the instructions from planning and codes without changes from day to day. And there'll be predictable timelines for providing delivery dates for plan reviews, permits, and inspections. Timelines that will be met reliably. Now, while we can't do much about the traffic on 41A and 55, we can improve our local streets and sidewalks. And this I commit to do. So I ask for your vote for proven, experienced leadership.
You made the time and the sacrifice to broaden their horizons, to see their smiles, but mostly to make lifelong memories. We think it's time to do it again, just the two of you. Don't let illness or injury slow you down. The rehab team at Life Care Center of Tullahoma is ready to help you live well.
It's time for every family and business in Tullahoma to go green and recycle. Tullahoma Public Works makes it simple and easy to recycle. Just place your recyclable materials, paper, plastic, aluminum, and cardboard beside your garbage container on the same day your garbage is picked up. Your recycled materials don't have to be in a fancy container. Recycling is not only the right thing to do, it makes sense. Recycling pays. Paying to bury our garbage costs each of us. Please do your part. Let's go green, Tullahoma, and recycle.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
Yeah.
All right, folks, we're back, and I'm real happy right now to have one of my favorite cats in town on stage with me, one of our aldermen, Miss Rupa Blackwell.
Did you call me a cat?
A cat? Now, you're a cool cat, too.
My kids don't think
Ever since
so.
you were that, I've known you ever since you were that tall. Yeah, you a cat. You a cool
I like
cat,
that. I
girl.
like that.
I like you. And you're here to discuss a couple of things that, as an alderman.
Yes, that's weird.
Plus, as an alderman, but as a concerned citizen and mother,
Absolutely.
that you're some initiatives that you're working on.
Sure.
And let our audience know how those things are going.
Okay.
And what you need.
Okay. Oh, I can definitely always ask for something I need. We know that. So a couple things that are going on right now is I'm excited today is our first meeting of the Diversity Council. And so with this initiative, you know, I actually was chatting with some people in the community, and it came up that, you know, there wasn't that much diversity within our commissions, our committees, and how can we get more minority communities involved? And so from this idea, we started talking about the possibility of creating a diversity council that would allow for advocacy to our city government from our minority communities. And minority communities means, you know, Black, Indigenous, people of color, different socioeconomic levels, differently abled. You know, we have people who have disabilities who need
brilliant.
And so there's a lot of different minority groups that, in my mind, you know, could use a voice at the table. And so that's what this is kind of my goal right now is with this. But tonight's meeting is an open forum where we can hear from the community what they want to see come out of that, which I think is important. I think, you know, the most important thing we can do is look to our community to see what their goals are so we can try to help them achieve them. So that's happening tonight. Really excited. 6 p.m. at Mount Zion Baptist Church. Bring a mask. Bring a mask.
Yes.
Because I think that's one thing I want to make sure that it's safe and that everybody feels comfortable, because there might be immunocompromised people there. So absolutely. So
Well,
that's
you
one of
never
them.
know.
Yeah, you never know.
You know, people. That's one thing. People say, "Oh, we live in Little Tullahoma."
Yeah.
But look, the people who live in Little Tullahoma travel all over the world.
Absolutely.
They're scientists. They're educators. They're, you know, we're not the same little town as most little towns.
Yes.
The people who live here
Get
travel.
out. Yeah, absolutely.
And so be careful. That's all.
Absolutely, and I'm very
smart.
and personally, I'm very conscious of it because my dad is, he had heart issues last year, so because of that, we're always worried this could cause him to have heart issues. Yeah, exactly. So yes, wear a mask if you come.
Okay. So diversity.
Diversity Council, yeah.
Yes. Now what else?
I'm working also. So one of the things I was speaking with the guy, Royce Massengill. I went to high school with him, and he brought up to me Jefferson Street Park and the need for the basketball courts to be redone.
Mm-hmm.
So I went out there, took a look at it, and was like, as of now, the city has not funded that for next year, but this is something, I'm a fundraiser. This is what I do for a living.
Right.
So why don't I bite this off and start raising money for it, right? So I reached out to our city administrator and said, hey, is it something that you've ever seen done, fundraising to get this thing done? She kind of guided me through it. So I'm working with the Tullahoma Sports Council, since they have a 501c3 nonprofit status, to raise money to actually get that basketball court re-asphalted, fencing, lighting,
Goals.
Well, the goals have been taken down because non-contact sports, and they're being repainted, and then they'll be going up. But yes, goals. Is that what they're called?
Maybe even have a net on them.
Yes, exactly. So exactly, and hopefully put them back up as soon as we can, right?
It's hard to hear string music if there's no strings underneath. That swish.
Well, what's funny?
That swish is part of the sound that makes
it's a nice
the
noise.
game really fun.
Makes it worthwhile. So that's one of the things we're working on. As of now, I have $10,000 committed.
Good.
But what is important to me? So the type of fundraising I do personally with my job is different from what most people think.
Sure.
I do what's called peer-to-peer fundraising, and what that is the friends asking friends model. So
Right.
when you see your friend, they're like, I'm going to go run a marathon. Can you donate to this organization for it? That's the type of fundraising I
Right.
do. So what I'm trying to do is get out in the community, talk about it, so that we can have the community get involved, right? I think there's pride in being involved in a project like this, and I think that's one of my goals is to do this as a grassroots fundraising effort. So.
Well, but I know you're going to hear the question, well, isn't that what we pay taxes for?
Absolutely.
Where'd that money go that park looks like that?
Well, and I don't know what has happened historically.
That's the question you're going to get asked.
Absolutely. I think that's a valid question. I personally believe we should be. If you look at our city budget and the way we fund things, it's it's a tight budget, pretty tight. In my opinion, what I'd like to see is us grow our revenues that come in. Sales tax revenue, we do bring in grants, but overall, the more developments we have, the more property taxes we'll get from those development, not by increasing property taxes, but we will see revenue increase.
Well, there's products sitting on the property.
Right.
Which is taxable.
Right, exactly. And so as we see that come in, I think that we should be investing it absolutely more into our parks as well as our roads.
All right, now I'm going to ask a question.
Yeah.
Because you're talking about that park. What's happening with the park that we
the Silver Street Park
funded out on East Lincoln Street?
So I want to be. I feel like there's some misunderstanding out there about.
That's what we're here for.
Exactly.
To clear all of that up.
The park that is there, we received grant money for a portion of that park.
Right.
The land itself was mostly all gifted to the city,
Right. Mm-hmm.
And so with grant money. You use it or you lose it, and you have to use it for the specific thing you write the grant for, which
Right.
was for lighting and basketball court. Okay?
Right.
And I think it was the diabetes program through the state.
Right.
So and then we've written other grants that we did not get. Like we asked for a $3 million grant from Blue Cross Blue Shield
Right.
to completely redo it. But so when people said, oh, you voted to fund that, but not this, it wasn't an either or. We voted to use the money that was given to us by the state and to supplement it with what we needed to get that one section of that project done. Otherwise, we would have lost that grant money.
Right.
And the other important thing I think people don't realize about grant money is when they give you this grant money, they want to see you complete the task that you've applied for.
Sure.
So, and if you don't, it's kind of like it doesn't look good for the city. So if we want
Kind
to
of like not putting a bypass around Tullahoma and then trying to get TDOT to do anything else here.
And so the goal is for us to show that we can take this money, we can get things done,
Right.
and when we apply for more, hopefully we'll get more.
Okay.
Right. So it's two separate things, and I've heard a lot of confusion out there around that. So I want to make sure that.
So nothing's happening on Silver Street.
No, so we funded the basketball court going in and the grading of it and the lighting. But
That's not happening.
I haven't checked out to see what's happening. I think right now we are on pause on starting those projects with COVID.
Okay.
So I can follow up and find out.
Okay. So you couldn't take the basketball goal money and put it over here at this
No,
other
you
park?
cannot, because that is written for a funding for that. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So it's.
So we all learn every day.
Yeah, exactly. And what's interesting to me is this past year as an alderman, we are learning. I'm learning every day. There's so much for me to learn.
Oh, yeah.
And I've been, especially the way revenues work, the way funding works, the way grants are. Like, I feel badly for our city administrator, honestly, because she every time we have a board meeting gets like giant lists of questions from me because there's so much to learn. There's so much for me to learn still. So it's fun.
So it is, and we just appreciate you for getting out there, stepping out there.
Thank you.
And putting yourself, Rupa Blackwell, not Alderman Rupa, behind these projects that Alderman Rupa approved. You put the other Rupa, the personal Rupa, out there to make it happen.
Blood, sweat, and tears.
But I mean, that's congratulations and thank you.
It's what our city deserves from
It certainly
from
is.
us. So that's why I'm doing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Diversity, say again
The
where
Diversity
that is
Council,
and when it is.
Mount Zion Baptist Church, 6 p.m. tonight.
Tonight. Okay.
Wear a
Gotcha.
mask.
Wear a mask. We'll be right back after these messages.
Thank you.
Here at Manchester Funeral Home, we know the importance of living and working in our local community because it's those families who we serve during their time of need honorably. We believe in supporting local business and offer only 100% Batesville caskets, the best in the industry and a driver of our local economy. If you want straightforward and fair pricing while working with the people you know, choose Manchester Funeral Home, serving your community since 1932. And pre-planning and pre-funding can be the best gift you ever leave your loved ones. Call us to pre-arrange. Manchester Funeral Home. Our family caring for your family since 1932.
If you want to be a parent, it doesn't matter how you play, what you wear, how you dance, or even what direction life takes you. You just need to be there. You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care don't need perfection. They just need you.
How long has it been since you raced a cheetah? Are your tornado creating skills getting rusty? Tired of being the only one in your neighborhood who hasn't built a dinosaur? Sounds like it's time to visit the Hands-On Science Center. The Hands-On Science Center is an indoor science playground. In this museum, please touch is the rule. Join us for weekly science demonstrations on space, lasers, lizards, rocks, and a whole lot more. No two visits are ever the same, so visit often to see our ever-changing exhibits and demonstrations. The Hands-On Science Center, 101 Mitchell Boulevard in Tullahoma.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
Welcome back. I was expecting something else. Wasn't expecting to see me. You're going to be glad you hung around because I have Cernobia McGee with me today. Hey, Cernobia.
Hello, how are you? I'm good.
Cernobia does a million things. She is the patient admissions at the hospital.
Director of admissions at the hospital.
Director of admissions.
Yes, ma'am.
And you're a Mount Zion Church preacher.
Yes, ma'am. I'm an ordained elder.
Preacher? You're an ordained elder.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, you do some wonderful jobs,
Thank
and
you.
I really appreciate it. I'm so glad to have you here, and I know you brought some of your friends.
I did.
We'll introduce them if you want to.
Okay. I brought with me, there's a group of us. We're called Goal Friends. That's G-O-A-L. Instead of girlfriends, we're Goal Friends. It's Miss Tanya Berry, Miss Bertha Smith, and Miss Chantel Jennings. And before the COVID-19 hit, we would meet like 2 to 3 times a month. And we would just get together, we would laugh, we would cry.
I love that.
We encourage each other, we hold each other accountable to the different goals that we've set for ourselves that we still want to accomplish in life. We made vision boards at the beginning of 2020, and we had all these grand ideas of 2020 vision and what we're going to accomplish, and then COVID-19 hit. So it
well, you're
sort
still
of delayed our plans, but delay is not denial.
Right, and you're still accomplishing a lot because I see your stuff on Facebook.
Yes,
and,
ma'am.
And every time I read it, I feel so much peace.
Oh, thank you.
Because it's always a loving thing that you put there. And your group started how long ago?
On May 24th.
May 24th.
Yes.
And I wrote these things down because I was afraid I'd forget it. You've been crowned. That's what I read on Facebook.
Yes,
and tell me what it is, some of your goals that you want to let people know what that means to be crowned.
Okay. You've been crowned, and if I could just go back to the beginning of how it actually came about, there was a popular group on Facebook already that, I would scroll through Facebook and I would see how excited the younger women would be when they would receive these gift bags. And so I'm like, wow, that is, this is a wonderful thing to have. And so I said, I would really like to start a group on Facebook for women. So I began to pray, and just immediately, You've Been Crowned came to mind. And I thought, what better name to have for women? The group is to encourage and empower women. Because we just go through so much. As women, we deal with insecurities.
Right.
We deal with fear.
Abandonment sometimes. And, sometimes we find validation based upon what other people think of us. Right.
When we should really be comfortable in who we are.
And who we are and what we think of ourselves.
And what we think of ourselves, exactly. So, and then it reminded me of the scripture that we are fearfully and wonderfully made. God took time to create each one of us individually.
Exactly.
And particular.
And he doesn't want you to be exactly like somebody else.
Exactly. And so, you know, you've been crowned. We're royalty, and we should carry ourselves as
that makes me want to
queens.
straighten
That's
up.
right. Sit up high, and you know, and so a lot of the mornings I would post on there. I'd give, you know, encouragement, and then I would say, put on your crown and your lipstick and go slay the day.
There you go. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
And I like this, division is not tolerated.
Right.
You want to explain that to me?
Well, there's just so
bit?
much division
in the country.
In this country, and so we need something positive versus all the negativity that's on Facebook. You know, I've had so many friends tell me that, you know, I'm just going to take a break from Facebook, from social media, because every time you get on there, it's just something negative. Even with the news, people don't watch the news anymore because, you know, you just see a bunch of negativity and things to cause division, more division.
I think so.
So I'm just so humbled and thankful that You've Been Crowned has been a tool on Facebook to help encourage people.
How many people do you think have plugged into it?
We have right now close to 2,000 members.
That is wonderful.
In just a little over a month.
That deserves a big hand.
That's exciting. And we have, there's been over 24,000 comments and posts to the different comments, and you know, you can give a like or a heart and those types of things. So there's almost 24,000
like
of
throwing
those.
a pebble in a stream. It just goes all over.
So,
and you started it. That's what I love.
I did. Well, God gave me the vision. He gave me the You've Been Crowned.
So you followed through. That's the beauty of it.
Yes, ma'am.
And if there's people out there that would be interested in maybe joining up, what would they do? Just look for?
Just simply go to Facebook and go to You've Been Crowned and just request to be invited to the group. One thing that there's one rule for the group, and that's just to respect each other. Nothing specific to any ethnicity, because again, that's division.
Sure,
you know, we're in this thing together, and we're stronger together. So
I liked that. I had written that down. We're stronger together, and I believe that with all my heart, because I loved your the hand that you had, and you had a different race,
shade for every ethnicity,
for every ethnic group, and I thought that was really a neat way to put it, because I think we're all part of each other, frankly.
We are.
Yeah.
We are.
And it's just a beautiful thing to happen, and I hope that you're going to keep it up.
I am. I do plan on keeping it up.
Do you foster this into your grandchildren?
I do, especially my granddaughter, because she's the only girl, and there's 4 of them, and she's the only girl.
Yeah.
So she can be rough sometimes. So I want her to know that she is a princess.
Right.
And when she gets older, she'll be the queen. And so carry yourself like you are royalty.
With pride and with dignity.
Exactly.
Exactly. That's beautiful. I would like to think that, I mean, everybody, men and women, would follow these rules, because believing in yourself.
Right.
And I think all of us know what is right most of the time.
Right.
And then do the right thing.
Do the right thing.
Do the right thing. And I wonder sometimes if people forget that. You know, it's just, sometimes it's just such an easy thing. You got something out here and you think, well, what should I do? Well, do what God leads you to do.
Exactly. Just do the right thing.
Try to make a difference.
Right, and treat people the way you want to be treated.
And that's what I think you're doing. You're making a fabulous difference.
Thank you.
And your friends out here are rooting for you, and all of you together are so much stronger than one of you alone.
Right. Yes, ma'am.
And how many local members do you think you have?
I don't know how many local members. I do know that there's people from just about every state. I did go out there and look, and so I think that's awesome.
It is awesome.
You know, people are, you know, participating in it, and it is encouraging. I had someone stop me in Walmart about a week ago, and
talk about it.
She yelled out my nickname.
Oh, cool.
So I turned around and she said, "I'm really enjoying You've Been Crowned." So that's what it's all
I'm
about.
going to tell you, they're going to cut us off because our time is up, but I hope you'll come back.
I sure will.
And we'll talk about this sort of thing again. I'm so proud of you, Zenobia.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thank you.
We'll be back with Who Knows What.
My great-grandfather started it in 1900, and now it's 2020, which is 120 years. We still measure your feet, still try to help you find a good fit. We're just a good old-fashioned shoe store where we'll measure your feet, make sure you're in the right size, and help you find a comfortable shoe for men, women, and children.
We're gonna fit your style. We're gonna make you smile. Service and quality at Clayton Shoe Store. We're gonna fit your style.
Ah, the glory days. Running to daylight on the gridiron and chasing a ball with a mind of its own. Cheering the team to victory and marching to the beat of your own drum. Memories that last a lifetime. But sometimes we're reminded of our glory days in ways we'd rather forget. Get back in the game.
The rehab team at Life Care Center of Tullahoma is ready to help you live and play well.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
Everyone, I'm John Rickman.
And this is Pat Welch. And John, we're here today with segment 49 of the Conversations with John and Pat.
Well, this is a song that my brother does. He really does a fine job in it. And it's normally the last song that we do whenever we entertain. And we called it the Rooster Song, simply the Rooster Song. And Ms. Willie Bell Ferris, who recently passed away, I think it was her favorite song. And we go over Miss J.D. Ramsey. She loves it.
John, I've heard this performed at a Rotary function one time to a rousing.
Oh, it brings the house down.
Oh, rousing.
My brother, he knocks it out.
You had to hold his bass for him and while he danced.
Oh, yeah. And no hen wouldn't lay no eggs. And an old hen wouldn't lay no eggs. Then that rooster out in our yard caught that old hen right off her guard. We're having eggs now. We're having eggs now. Since that rooster came in our yard. Whoa, we're having eggs now. We're having eggs now. Since that rooster came into our yard. Had an old dog, wouldn't have no pups. Had an old dog, wouldn't have no pups. Then that rooster out in our yard caught my old dog right off her guard. We're having bird dogs. We're having bird dogs. Since that rooster came in our yard. We're having bird dogs. We're having bird dogs. Since that rooster came into our yard. Had an old cow, wouldn't give no milk. Had an old cow, wouldn't give no milk. Then that rooster out in our yard caught that old cow right off her guard. We're having eggnog, we're having eggnog. Since that rooster came in our yard. We're having eggnog, we're having eggnog. Since that rooster came into our yard. Had an old aunt, didn't have no kids. Had an old aunt, didn't have no kids. Then that rooster out in our yard caught my old aunt right off her guard. We're having fried chicken, we're having fried chicken. Since that rooster came in our yard. Whoa, we're having fried chicken, we're having fried chicken. Since that rooster came into our yard. There's no more rooster out in our yard.
A rousing success.
Little
it's
different
been.
kind of song,
Yes,
you know.
yeah.
My brother, first time he ever sang that, he did it for my mother on Mother's Day, probably, I don't know how many years ago. My mother, every time he'd do a verse, she said, "Jimmy, that's enough." He'd do another one. "Jimmy, that's plenty." And he'd keep singing, "Jimmy, that's enough." He'd keep going.
Now she'd just be tickled.
That's right. We're talking about golfers today. Tullahoma has had lots of good athletes and lots of teams and individual teams, success. But we're wanting to acknowledge the team that won the golf state championship many years ago. Dale Phelps was the coach. Would you put that up, Philip?
In fact, I think, John, they won twice during that era.
I believe they did too, Pat.
Yeah. And at that same time, or within a year or two of it, was this 74?
I believe it is.
78. Excuse me, those boys not that old.
This says 74. I might have marked it wrong.
But no, he's wrong. Philip's right. It is 78.
Okay.
Yeah, they're a little bit, a little younger than that. But there was Karen Romberg.
Yeah.
Won either one or two, and she was a runner-up another time, and had a really good career at the University of Indiana. She was a good player.
There's Dale on the left.
Dale Phelps on the left. He's since passed away. Was a really successful basketball coach. Let's see, and the next is man Scott Copeland, also known as Ace Copeland. Who was he looks awful frail there, but he could kill it. And the next one, we're going, of course, from left to right. Next is James McCord, and then his twin John, and then the last was Clay Usselton. And Ace probably could have played in college if he wanted to, but James played at Western Kentucky. John played at Middle Tennessee, and Clay played at South Carolina. So they were
great golfers.
They were really, really good players.
And they're all members over at the country club here in Tullahoma?
Correct.
And they keep playing?
They keep playing. Ace doesn't play quite as much as the other three, but the other three play awful lot.
Yeah.
And they're still awful good. James has been club champion probably at Lakewood 16, 17, something like that. But John has won at least twice. In fact, he won last year. And if
don't you think the
discussion comes up now, he will point out that he is the reigning club champion.
Do you think that the McCord boys have a little problem with confidence?
That's not their problem.
You know, our friend Tommy Martin, not too long ago, he was talking to James, I believe it was, and he said, James, can you beat Pat Welch in golf? He said, yeah, I can beat him one-handed.
Yeah, and
then he came. He said, "What about John Rickman?" He said, "Well, I don't think I need hands." But anyway, they're good guys.
They are
and
good
they've
guys.
been good for Tullahoma, and we're really proud of them being the champions they were. And
they're very supportive of the golf team now, and try to mentor them and continue the growth of golf.
Now,
Clay's son
plays.
Right. He just signed with Jack. Just signed with Belmont. He's a fine player. He's not a whole lot different from Ace as far as the size, but he's a really, really strong player.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he's going to get a little bit bigger, and he's going to be even stronger.
Are any of the other kids taking golf up, or are they
out there now?
Yeah.
Oh, we got a fine team coming back.
Is that right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, they've got. I think last year's team was either third or fourth in the state, and returns at least 3 and maybe 4.
Who's coaching that team now?
Barry Bishop.
Barry. Right. He's the pro over at Willowbrook.
Willowbrook has done a nice job with them.
Yeah.
Really nice job.
Really, really good. Yeah. But that's a good team. a good picture of those guys, and we were mighty proud of them at that time, still proud of them.
That's exactly right. Still proud of them. So, John, that finishes segment 49, and you know what's coming next, if management will allow it.
Number 50.
Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back, and I'm here with my lovely wife, Fran, today with Alzheimer's Tennessee, and Jessie Shavies.
Yes.
And she is with Home Instead. And what these two lovely ladies are going to do is explain about a possible way that you can fund Alzheimer's Tennessee. And Home Instead is jumped in on this, and I think Philip has a bumper for us that I sent him. I hope he's got that loaded that we can show sometime during the interview. And Fran, I'll leave you to speak with her.
Oh, okay.
Okay, about, well, just sort of get things started where I can catch up.
Okay. Well, John, thank you for letting us come and speak with you all today. Jessie is the franchisee owner of the local Home Instead. Home Instead, is it nationwide?
Yeah, it's worldwide.
Worldwide, okay. A big organization. And you all have been working in Tullahoma for many years now, haven't you?
Going on 22 years.
22 years. And you are following in your father's footsteps, I believe.
Yes.
Right,
yes.
Right. The infamous Rick Davis. But Jessie and her group provide wonderful services. It's non-medical home care, correct?
Correct.
You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. It's things like laundry, housekeeping, meal preparation, companionship, transportation to doctor appointments, hair appointments, personal care needs, assistance with bathing and undergarments, those kind of things. Very essential, necessary services.
Well, involving dementias and Alzheimer's and not just those things, but also hospital stays and but you don't do nursing care.
Correct.
But you help these people negotiate after surgeries and stuff like that when they go home.
Sure.
And need some help, then it's it's like in our family we have two young daughters that are working, and sometimes it's hard to have someone at home with mom.
That's right.
Or dad or whoever, and it might even be a young person who has a sports injury.
Right.
Whose mom and dad have to go to work every day, right?
Yep, absolutely. We help folks anywhere from 8 hours a week all the way up to 24/7. So whatever the need may be, if it's working children and they need us 8 or 10 hours a day, we can help with that. Some folks just need maybe 4 or 8 hours a week services to kind of, assist, but not that heavy kind of care just yet.
Right.
And as folks go through the aging process, we're right there with them to support them and keep them happy and healthy as long as possible.
That's wonderful. Where is your facility?
We're at 603 Northwest Atlantic Street. It used to be Dr. Hunter's and Dr. Beaver's office.
Oh, okay.
We've been there about a year now.
That's an easy way
It is.
for all of us around here to figure out what doctor was there before.
Sure. We've been there for about a year now, and I'm very happy with the space. And I hear a lot of folks saying, these were my dentists, and but if you come into our building, it's been completely redone, and so the memories of dental needs may be gone with the new decor.
Right. Well, sure, I'm sure they are. I'm sure they are. How many people do you have working with your service?
We have about 75 caregivers right now and serving close to 100 clients.
And how far afield do you go?
We cover 6 counties: Coffee, Franklin, Lincoln, Moore, Bedford, and Rutherford.
So you're right in there with Alzheimer's Tennessee with the counties. They are plus some of those, but you'll get there.
Yeah. Well, and if there's an area that we don't cover because we're worldwide, there's a Home Instead that covers it. So all of our territories kind of butt up to each other.
Right.
And so if it's not us, it's another home instead cover.
Well, and in some situations, that's good because the travel's not as far, and you have access to plenty of folks who are capable of supplying the support that you supply.
Right.
And are trained to supply that support. And so, like you say, if it's not this home instead, 2 steps over is the territory for the next home instead.
That's correct.
So that's a good thing. So that you can transfer, or you can give people the right person to call down the street.
Absolutely.
So that's good.
Absolutely.
And you've been doing this for how long?
I've been in this business for almost 20 years now myself.
I'd say that's long enough to know.
Yeah. Dad, like Fran said, my dad bought the business and he needed an employee and I needed a job out of college. So I thought, well, I'll help you out for a little while. Fell completely in love with the vision of Home Instead and what we provide. And so when Dad retired, then I kind of took over.
You just
there.
walked right in there, didn't you?
Yep.
And Philip, do you have that? What's the benefit? There you go, right there. Tell us about this, girls.
Well, this is a fundraiser that our Home Instead Foundation is partnering with Alzheimer's Tennessee. The actual event takes place the 15th to the 17th. It's a virtual event, so folks just kind of keep up with their own 5K that they're walking. But the main thing that folks need to hear is the money that is donated should be donated on the 13th and 14th of July.
Okay.
Our Home Instead Foundation is matching dollar for dollar on those 2 dates, up to $5,000. So if
that's wonderful.
If you want to be involved in it, definitely donate on those 2 days, and then that way Alzheimer's Tennessee gets the match as well.
And what happens when that happens is when Alzheimer's Tennessee gets the money, it all stays local and inside the state of Tennessee.
Yes.
That's right.
It doesn't go to some office in the sky somewhere.
That's right.
And get spent on national advertising. It stays here and gets spent on the people who need the care.
That's correct. Yep.
That's right, and we're just so appreciative, and we make referrals back and forth to each other because there's such a great need for people to have good care, good help, supporting their families, their care partners at home. So we're very fortunate to have a friendship here, and we're very appreciative that on July 13th and 14th, people can go to our website, and that information is on the, what did you call it, the information that you all just posted. Yes. If people will register on July 13th and 14th for this virtual 5K and make a donation of $25, then it can get matched up to the $5,000.
That's wonderful.
And then
thank you, Home Instead.
Right.
And then on the dates 15, 16, and 17, if they would like to walk a 5K or run it or swim, I guess they could even swim it, couldn't they?
However you get there.
Right. It's a virtual thing.
Bicycle ride.
Right. You can walk, run, swim. You can do it on your treadmill. You can do it in your neighborhood.
Yeah, that's right.
You can go out on the greenway. Just wherever it's safe to be and get a good workout. We all know that exercise is very critical to having good health and good brain health. So we would encourage folks to just make a donation. $25 would be something we wouldn't even miss. And $25 can go a long way to help a lot of people.
There you go.
So,
particularly when it's doubled.
That's right. That's right. So we really thank you for encouraging folks to get out and be active, and for sharing the financial benefits with Alzheimer's Tennessee. And like you said, it stays right here in our state.
Okay, so let's get to 2 important things right here before we have to go. Number 1 is you've moved your office to a new location. Tell people where that is right quick.
Okay, we are now at 309 North Jackson Street. We have moved a block north on North Jackson. We're in the Shahan building.
There you go.
And so if they have questions, they can come by our office. We have the same phone number of 931-434-2999. 2348. If you have questions for Jessie and her staff, their number is 931-454-2202.
Yes, ma'am.
So.
And you're in the old Beavers building.
That's correct.
Beavers and
Dr.
Hunter.
Beavers.
Yep, right behind
Dr.
Walgreens.
Hunter.
Yeah.
Look, right there, you look out at the railroad track.
Yes, sir.
So we would love for our community to stay healthy, of course, and stay active. And this is a great way to be with your family or be with your neighbors at a distance and challenge each other to walk a 5K right there at home.
Well, thank both of you ladies for being here, and congratulations, and thank you for being involved with Alzheimer's Tennessee.
Well, it's our pleasure.
And these folks do a great job at what they do. Don't be afraid to call someone when you need help. Make sure though you call a professional, and Home Instead is the professional you want to call. So give them a call, and thank you both for being here, and good fortune to both of you.
Thank you.
Let's raise some money for Alzheimer's Tennessee. We'll be right back after these messages.
Smoking tobacco accounts for 3 of every 10 fire deaths in the United States.
Tullahoma Fire Department. Need you en route to a structure fire, 202 Main Street. Heavy smoke showing. Neighbors advise child trapped inside.
Lighters, matches, and associated smoking paraphernalia are the leading cause of preschooler fire deaths. We as firefighters know that most structure fires can be prevented.
I've got one! I've got one! Command, this is primary search. We have a victim. Need EMS to meet us at the front door.
Please help us to give you a fighting chance. This can be prevented. Contact the Tullahoma Fire Department for a free home safety inspection.
What's a Tennessee vacation? It starts off like any road trip, and then, boom, adventure and thrills everywhere you look, which happens to be some of the most beautiful scenery in the country. Music here, history there, and all kinds of green in between. Come relax and unwind, or bring the crowd for some stargazing, or stargazing. Whatever you do, come hungry and expect an awesome soundtrack. It's all right here in Tennessee. We're playing your song. For a free vacation guide, visit tnvacation.com.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, on the 4th of July, and happy 4th of July, by the way. I hope you had a great weekend. Saturday morning, there was a second installation of bricks on the Veterans Walk down at Caboose Park. And Miss Sandy Sebring and the Garden Club are involved have been involved throughout the whole part of it to make that whole thing happen. I told her husband, I said, and Alan Harris over at the Legion, I said, you know, if they want to get rid of the coronavirus, they just need to put her in charge of it. Sandy, she'd have it knocked out in 6 months. Hardest working lady I believe I've ever seen. But I went down and got some video of that, and there were many, many people there. I hope the video's okay because the sun was in my eyes. I couldn't tell whether I was on the person or a tree. So I hope I'm sure Philip edited it and got it to where we can see some of the nice stuff that took place down there at Caboose Park. Let's go to that video right now.
I want to welcome our visitors and thank our residents for being here. Today's Independence Day. What better way to celebrate 244 years of independence than to thank our veterans for the freedoms we enjoy. So today we dedicate this special memorial in their honor.
At this time, if you would, please stand if you are able. Remove your hats as our colors come forth. Ladies and gentlemen, the Marine Corps Junior ROTC Color Guard, presenting our national ensign and our unit colors. The right rifle bearer is Cadet Second Lieutenant Carson Reed. National colors, Cadet Sergeant Major Travis Simons. Organizational colors, Cadet Staff Sergeant Tristan Bunch. And left rifle bearer, Cadet Sergeant Zachary Worth.
Oh. Oh.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Let us pray. Our gracious, most heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the country that you have given us. Let us always guard its freedom so that we can have the freedoms that we have, Father, given to you by you. Father, we pray for those who have sacrificed their lives so that we can have this freedom today. We give them thank you, Father. Father, we love you, and we thank you again for this day. In your name I pray. Amen. Good morning.
Good morning.
Today we celebrate the names of each person and family represented on these bricks. This is my son, John, if y'all want to know. We will be forever indebted to all of the servicemen and women who have made the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom today. Please, let us pause and remember them now. Thank you. Years from now, our country will look and sound different. Change is something that happens to us all, and it will most likely happen to our very own country. There is only one thing that cannot change if we remain one of the most significant countries in the world. That is our freedom. Freedom is the power or right to act, speak, or think as one wants, without hindrance or restraint. Freedom is what makes our country free. We are free to talk, free to exercise religion, freedom to use our conscience, free to go anywhere, and free to pursue whatever dream we could imagine. These freedoms are the bedrock, the cornerstone of our country. And as our flag still waves, and as our servicemen and women continue to make their sacrifices, we will forever be free. Other things may change around us, but our freedom cannot. Months and years later, there will be visitors to this park. Some will come and see the names engraved on these bricks. To the families of these names represent, there is a history and a story. Maybe it was the beaches of Normandy, the deserts of Iraq, the mountains of Italy, or Afghanistan, the jungles of Vietnam and Korea, the many oceans that cover our world, the vast airspace that goes from horizon to horizon, or guarding the great nation against domestic or foreign threats. All of these stories are different and unique to each serviceman and women. But with each event and all these different stories, there is a thread that weaves this sidewalk together. That thread is their love for our country. Anyone can raise their hand and pledge, but it's their selfless act of respect for the country that they complete their mission. What gives these men and women loyalty, courage, bravery, commitment, and sacrifice to cross enemy lines? It's when they see their flag that has the red and white stripes and the blue banner with the white stars. They know it represents families, churches, homes, communities, states, and so much more. We are one country. We are the United States of America. These bricks are just a snapshot of a small fraction of warriors and part of a broader U.S. military force. Their names are engraved, but their stories and sacrifice live on. So many have already passed away, and some are standing here today. They served not for applause, but for you and your family and our country. They sacrificed so that you and I can still enjoy our great freedoms for years and generations to come. I hope you find the time to say thank you to them. This park, in a way, does just that. If you listen quietly, while the wind passes by and through our great flag, you can hear it just say that simple yet powerful gesture. Thank you. I served in Iraq, and that was probably one of the most difficult times for my family, but we got through. It's because people like you and families that stick together for our freedom and for our flag. We live, if not, we live in the greatest country. And these bricks right here is a memorial to those people. I want to say thank you to my brothers and sisters in arms who have laid down their lives, who are not standing here with us today. But their stories, like I said, will live on forever if we keep pursuing the greatest gift that our country has, and that's its freedom. So I say this, may God bless you and your family, and may God bless America. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Brady Welch, and I will be sharing the American's Creed with you today. I believe in the United States of America as a government of the people, by the people, for the people, whose just powers are derived from the consent of the governed, a democracy and a republic, a sovereign nation of many sovereign states, a perfect union, one and inseparable, established upon those principles of freedom, equality, justice, and humanity for which American patriots sacrificed their lives and fortunes. I therefore believe it is my duty to my country to love it, to support its Constitution, to obey its laws, to respect its flag, and to defend it against all enemies. William Tyler Page.
Good morning. It's a great day to be in Tullahoma, Tennessee on the 4th of July. Don't you agree? Yes. On behalf of the Shady Grove Garden Club, we are excited to have this second dedication consisting of 87 engraved pavers in the Veterans Memorial Walk. At this time, there's 492 engraved pavers. I was asked yesterday, how did this memorial come about? And so I just stood there and told him that about 75 years ago, there was a garden club in New Jersey, and they wanted to honor the returning veterans from World War II. And so their vision was to create a memorial. And out of that desire came the Blue Star Memorial. It is to honor anyone and everyone who has worn the uniform of the armed forces at any time. And then later, the Gold Star Memorial was created, and that is a tribute to the families who have lost a loved one in the service of our country. With help, these memorials are nationwide, and they can only be sponsored by a garden club. And so we are just so happy that we have this here in Tullahoma at this time, because it is truly for the community all around. With help from the American Legion Post 43, the Tullahoma Historical Society, numerous businesses and organizations, our club was able to accrue donations to come to build that memorial. And this memorial was dedicated on May 2019 by the Garden Club of Tennessee. And it's my pleasure to recognize our District 2 Director of the Tennessee Federated Garden Clubs, Pam Braun, who is here today. She actually made the dedication last May, and we're just so happy. She lives in Franklin, so happy that she could join us today. I would also like to mention, in conjunction with the American Legion, that an invitation has been extended to everyone to go across the street after the program for refreshments. They have been supplied by the American Legion and the Ladies Auxiliary. So go over and get something cool to drink and thank our Commander Alan Harris and the ladies of the Auxiliary. This 69-foot walk connects the memorials to the history of Tullahoma, the railroad, and Camp Forrest. Now there will be, mentioning Camp Forrest, Dr. Bradley has written the script for another sign, just like that one, and it will be installed right here, which deals specifically with Camp Forrest, because that's why this site was so important. This was where the troops, the young men and women, were disembarked to go to Camp Forrest and train to then be sent to the Pacific and Europe for World War II. But it would be just a piece of concrete, except for the fact that you made this park come alive with the names of your loved ones who have been engraved here. Come alive. We read them, we appreciate them, we relate to them. It's generational. It's family. And your love goes on. For with the money from the sale of these pavers, we were able to accrue enough to have a scholarship fund. So by spring of 2021, the Shady Grove Garden Club will be issuing scholarships to graduating seniors of veterans who are going on to higher education. Thank you so much for your support and participation. Enjoy your park. It has been a pleasure. Thank you.
President Ronald Reagan stated, "Some people live an entire lifetime and wonder if they have ever made a difference in the world. A veteran doesn't have that problem." As we dedicate this phase of the Veterans Memorial, you see before you almost 500 bricks commemorating the service of veterans who made a difference by their service in our armed forces. These bricks before you commemorate those who served from the Revolutionary War, 1776 to 1780, to those currently serving their home or serving their country at home and overseas. In reality, however, there are more than 500 veterans honored on these pavers. The significance of family is evident on this memorial walkway. If you look closely, you will see bricks with multiple names, perhaps brothers who served together or in different fronts, husband and wife who served, or multiple family members who have served. In phase 2 of this memorial's completion, one donor was responsible for assembling the names of 12 veterans, those who served in World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, the Cold War, Desert Shield, and Desert Storm. You won't recognize the 12 by the last name, but it is a family of 12. Not so easily recognized are the pavers that have been placed together at the request of donors, a placement that honors service with a close friend with whom they served. The Brotherhood of Veterans is a lasting relationship molded by a common bond of service, sacrifice, camaraderie, mutual understanding, and endurance of hardships that accompany service to country. This memorial honors the veteran, but we would be remiss if we did not also recognize and honor the families of these veterans. The family, a mother, a father, a sibling, a spouse, children, a relative. So is the family of veterans honoring a veteran's family. A veteran might say, no one understands the challenges of service in the military. A military family member might just as easily or appropriately say that no one understands the challenges of being in the family of a military veteran. A most appropriate story might be that of U.S. Army Chief of Staff General Maxwell D. Taylor. In 1956, he stated that he would not have attained his current status if it had not been for Mrs. Taylor. Specifically, he stated, if Mrs. Taylor had not taken me in hand years ago, I would still be a second lieutenant. I'm sure some spouses of veterans we honor today would have similar sentiments. In closing, we look to one of the best-known sonnets of John Milton. The last 3 lines are particularly noteworthy. They conclude with, "They also serve who only stand and wait." Variants of that sonnet have been used in a number of contexts. For example, the Dickin Medal was instituted in 1943 in the United Kingdom by Maria Dickin to honor the work of animals in World War II. The bronze medallion bears the words, "For gallantry and we also serve." The Navy Wives Clubs of America uses the motto, "They also serve who stay and wait." In U.S. popular culture, it is perhaps best known for Hall of Fame baseball broadcaster Vin Scully, who would quote it when showing a player not in the game. Today, we honor 500 plus veterans whose names are engraved on these bricks. We also honor the family members of these veterans, those family members who answered the call to serve, to stay, and wait.
Hello, I'm Ray Noyes. This is a critical time in Tullahoma. On August the 6th, voters will have an opportunity to elect a new mayor, one who can provide proven, experienced leadership, one who knows how to get things done and keep Tullahoma moving. I recognize the value of Tullahoma's excellent school system. Our system is recognized as one of the best in the state, and I'll ensure that our schools continue at that level. I will not vote to raise property taxes in order to have a balanced budget until all other options have been exhausted. I'll work closely with our city staff to ensure that my fiscally conservative values are incorporated. I've served on all city boards involved in economic development. I see that as a way that we can broaden our tax base and avoid a property tax rate increase. Some developers have had issues with our planning and codes department. I'll commit to these improvements. There'll be consistency in the instructions from planning and codes without changes from day to day. And there'll be predictable timelines for providing delivery dates for plan reviews, permits, and inspections. Timelines that will be met reliably. Now, while we can't do much about the traffic on 41A and 55, we can improve our local streets and sidewalks, and this I commit to do. So I ask for your vote for proven, experienced leadership.
My wife Jackie has always been the life of the party, but things changed when she couldn't be as active anymore.
They told me I needed a double knee replacement.
It's not as big a deal as it used to be, but she still needed to go to rehab.
I was amazed at how good the therapists were at Life Care. They took really good care of me.
They took excellent care of her, and now she's back doing the things she loves, and that makes everyone happy.
Life Care Center of Tullahoma wants you to get active and live well.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back, and Peggy, we had I think we had a really good show today.
Yeah, we had some nice people.
A lot of exciting people, and but we didn't have a guy other than me. Y'all had me pretty much.
It was Women's Day.
Women's Day on the Living Show, which is all right with me. They a bunch of fine ladies here today.
Yeah, we had some good ones.
A lot of good subjects going on. A lot of things happening in our little small town, and we need to be very proud of it and look at some of the new things. I noticed that the new Hobby Lobby's going up over there at Walmart.
Great.
They're working on it, or Kmart used to be. And so there's all kinds of things happening around town. Get out and drive around. Don't just. You can social distance yourself in the car.
There you go.
Or on a sidewalk. Go out and walk around, find out what's going on around this community, and be part of it. What we're going to do right now, because we didn't have a 4th of July celebration, 6 Wire comes down here and plays almost every year. We're going to close today's show with 6 Wire doing God Bless the USA. We'll see you next time.
So the way that we all met, Steve Mandel over here on guitar was band leader for a very good friend of ours by the name of Lee Greenwood, and he had just moved to Nashville from Texas, and shortly after it was his job to get the rest of the band together, and he recruited John Howard on the bass to come play with Lee, and then Chuck Tilley on the drums, and they were all playing with Lee. They needed a keyboard player, and they found Steve Hornbeek on the side of the road. Actually found him in a Holiday Inn lounge down in Tampa, Florida, and they hired him almost on the spot, not long after that. So these 4 guys were all Lee Greenwood's backup band, and I was doing some solo records at the time, and I opened a few shows for them, and we got to be friends, but that was a long time ago. We don't really like each other anymore. So we were friends, we stayed friends, we started working on other people's records together, and continued to tour with a lot of people together. Eventually we became the band 6 Wire and signed to Warner Brothers Records, and did a few records. We did a lot of television. So now after almost 20 years we're still here together, and in a strange, very twisted, sick way we owe it all to our good friend Lee Greenwood. But I'll tell you this, he's a wonderful entertainer and a wonderful songwriter, and he wrote this song that we would love to dedicate to all of you right here in my home state of Middle Tennessee. Here's one by Lee Greenwood. Sing with us. If tomorrow all the things were gone that I've worked for all my life, I had to start again. stand and say